I don't believe I've told enough people to kiss my ass. I don't believe I've told enough people you could go kick rocks.
I think he told a lot of people, bro.
I don't believe that I've said enough about the people who talk shit about me lying all the damn time.
There you go, Crash Out Steve.
That's going to end.
He sounds insecure to me. He sounds like the criticism about the solitaire has clearly gotten under his skin. Awful announcing's been writing some things critical of him.
Off on him.
People have been publicly critical of him. Bobby Burack wrote a piece, I think, that, his contract is going to go down as the worst contract in the history of sports media.
Damn,
Stephen
real?
A. sounds very defensive to me. How's he sound to you?
Jason Whitlock reacts to Stephen A. Smith throwing shots at him and Marcellus Wiley. Check out what he had to say, and then I'll come back with my comments.
Stephen A. Smith had quite the rant earlier this week.
Clapping back.
He's going on vacation like a lot of the rest of us, a lot of people in sports media at this time of the year. It's a slow time of the year. But on his way out the door, he fired some shots at Marcellus Wiley, and perhaps even yours truly. We'll start with shot number 9. This is Stephen A. Smith just getting himself worked up about his critics and haters and what he's planning to do when he returns. Let's play shot number 9.
Let's go down the list. They got on me for playing solitaire for a couple of minutes during the NBA game.
He don't care. He chilling right now.
Even contemporaries on other networks were talking about me. And of course, a couple of people in the podcast stratosphere used to be in sports, but now can't get a damn job.
Throwing shots.
So their job all of a sudden is being a media critic instead of covering sports, but we won't go there.
Yes, Stephen throwing shots now. He don't care. He got his money from ESPN. He got his money from SiriusXM. Even though people been calling out Stephen A. and they've been on the money, like Jason Whitlock and Marcellus Wiley, but look like Stephen A. he don't care no more. He just going all out. He knows he's going to be on vacation and he's just going to tell it like it is. So don't be surprised if Stephen A. Smith got more to say when he returns in September.
Didn't go there, but he did go there. Is he talking about you and Marcellus Wiley? Who's he talking about there?
No. Well, wait a minute.
Definitely Marcellus.
First of all, here's the thing. Isn't he one of those tough guys from the Bronx? Or, one of those boroughs of New York where everyone thinks they're tough? They all had 50 street fights. They all have bodies. And they all talk like they're Nino Brown.
Smoke.
Why don't you just name names then? Seriously, I don't understand. Yeah, because I'll be a tough guy. I'm from New York. Okay, that's the most worthless thing. Like, one of my pet peeves in boxing is when certain fighters from East Coast City, well, I'm from blank city. And I've said, it doesn't matter. It's never won a fight. It is
Yeah, Steven sound like he trying out for the WWE. Triple H, The Rock. Hire Stephen A. Smith immediately. He ready to go off on all his haters. He's sick of all the people talking junk about him. Jason Whitlock versus Stephen A. Smith. Celebrity boxing match coming soon.
absolutely has. It's probably the most inconsequential thing in boxing right now is I am from East Coast City. Honestly, some of them are the biggest frauds in the world. I hate to say it because they used to be some great fighting cities. But if Steven is going to go all Nino Brown here, name names. Name names. Just say them. I'm seriously. Just say the names.
You know Stephen A. ain't gonna say no names. Let's be real about this. This is all throwing shots, subliminals. I guess he feels as though he's on a different level. He doesn't have to say names, and he's not gonna point blank say it. Maybe people that he respects in his mind, he'll say their name, like Dan Le Batard, just to clear the air that he's not talking about him. But Marcellus, Jason Whitlock, and other people in the media, he's not gonna say their name. It's impossible. Stephen A. talks a lot of junk, but he hides his hand.
He does make it clear later on that he's talking about Marcellus Wiley. He never names Marcellus by name, but he gives you all the clues.
Yep.
But he seems really defensive about the round of criticism he's been getting here of late, particularly the solitaire deal during the NBA Finals. Here he is. Let's play shot number 2, where he defends playing solitaire.
Were you around when I worked over 325 days this calendar year?
They've been putting Steven to work.
I'm talking about the last 365 days, not since January 1st.
Were
you around?
We were around.
I love how y'all trying to find something. I really, to my man Rashawn and Griff and everybody, yo, I got an announcement to make. I really have made it.
Congrats. You
I
famous,
really,
bro.
really have. I have made it. I mean, stop the presses. I've made it. Because y'all are making news. It was on the back pages because I was playing solitaire. I said it was during the timeout. Somebody said it wasn't during the timeout. Well, when the timeout finished, I was still playing it in the middle of the third quarter. And?
So what?
Did you see me do 2 hours of pregame?
$1 million.
ESPN and then ABC?
Spazzing
Did you
out.
see me do halftime? Did you see me do postgame? Did you see me do first take every single morning?
We seen it.
You're just making it up.
Again, man, Stephen A has had enough, man. You can tell he's on the brink of crashing out. This is more of a strategic crash out. I'm going to be on vacation for the next 3 or 4 weeks. But give it some time. Jason Whitlock, he going to keep going off on him. Remember the crash out he had on Whitlock about a year ago. He's going to have another one of those that isn't strategic. He's just going to go all out. So he wants to say his producers don't want him to do this, but let's be real. Stephen A. Smith wanted to do this, but to a certain degree. I'm not going to just say names point blank. Again, only the people I'm cool with, like Dan Le Batard. You're not going to hear him say Whitlock. You're not going to hear him say Marcellus, Wiley, and other people in media that's been calling him out. He doesn't even like to say Max Kellerman's name just because he knows the backlash he's facing with the alleged firing of Max Kellerman that he did on First Take. Even though he tries to deny it, he's just always going to try to pivot the conversation. Him playing solitaire. Yeah, Stephen A., you made it. Congrats. You're famous. Everything you do is going to make frontline news. So at the end of the day, deal with it. You got your money. And this is the stuff that comes with the fame and celebrity. Looks like Stephen A. still don't like that.
He sounds insecure to me. He sounds like the criticism about the solitaire has clearly gotten under his skin. Awful announcing. He's been writing some things critical of
going
him.
off on him.
People have been publicly critical of him. Bobby Burak wrote a piece, I think, that, his contract is going to go down as the worst contract in the history of sports media.
Damn, for
Stephen
real?
A. sounds very defensive to me. How's he sound to you?
Well, I have a question. Did he not sign up for all this? Is he
Exactly.
not the highest paid employee of any sports journalist or broadcaster? What did you think you were going to do? Work once a week like Rachel Maddow? No, you signed up for this. You agreed to this. And here's the thing. If they made you work less and took you off some of those broadcasts, he'd probably complain about that. Again, you're going to earn your
Exactly.
money. You knew what you're getting into. And yeah, on that solitaire issue, he's all alone. He really is. And he should just admit it and say, look, I was a little bit bored.
That's
Jason,
it.
this past weekend, I was at that magnificent prize fight between Jake Paul and Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. And you know what I did after round 5? I left. And if people have a problem with it, I would say, you know what, you're allowed to. But I just said, there's only one thing worse than 5 rounds of watching this fight is having to watch all 10. And I just said, you know what, I'll make a story out of it. I'm not going to run from it. I'm not going to hide. And I understand certain people are probably not happy with me. But you have to accept it. That's the action. In fact, I tweeted out, you know what, I'm good. I'm gone. So again, but to my original point, the reason why Stephen A. Smith is getting paid that much is because he's expected to be at all these events. Again, what did he think he was getting himself into?
No, that's real talk by Steve Kim. You're getting all this money. You're going to have to contribute to various TV shows on ESPN, guest hosting from time to time. So what did he expect for it just to be, okay, here's $100 million and you're just going to do First Take an NBA countdown? You're going to be at every sporting event, basketball, football, wherever they want to put Stephen A. Smith, that's where he has to be. So it looks like he doesn't want to do it or he has an issue with everything. He already knows his time is valuable. Yeah, that contract could go down as the most overpaid or whatever the case may be, but they're going to get as much money as they can from Stephen A. Smith. So he has to be mentally prepared for the criticism. Maybe he doesn't want to tell the truth like Steve Kim is saying. He walked out of the Jake Paul fight in round 5. It was 10 rounds. He doesn't want to be there and he's just going to, admit to it and deal with whatever comes with it. Stephen A. Smith doesn't want to deal with whatever comes with the money, the fame, the fortune, everything. He just wants things his way. But at the same same time, you're working for corporate media, bro. You're a part of the system. You're a part of Disney. That's just what it is. They got you working, and you got to deal with the criticism and media backlash.
Well, he's preparing people because
Real
people are
talk.
making the argument. I think Awful Announcing did, Bobby Burke, like, hey, this guy's overexposed. That he's doing too much and it's kind of blowing up in his face. And, you know,
he
this
need a
whole
break.
tough guy routine and all of that is a deflection away from, yeah, I'm going to be doing less. The Inside the NBA crew is coming over here, and he's trying to now spin that into a positive, that he needs the rest and he's glad. He's kind of embracing, hey, maybe I am overexposed. He made some comments in here. I don't know if we got the clips where he's have you checked the ratings, as if, you know, his work was part of the reason the NBA ratings did whatever they did. But Steve, he also mentioned here, we'll play shot number 3. He addressed the elephant in the room, the return of Max Kellerman.
He didn't wanna do
And
that.
maybe that's what has sparked or heated up some of the conversation around Stephen A. Smith. Let's play shot number 3.
For a 2-hour daily debate show, I didn't think we worked any longer. That's all.
There you go, the crash out.
Never wanted him fired. Never wanted him unemployed.
I don't know about that.
Happy he's back. Because I don't wish for brothers not to get a check and not to be employed. And that brother is brilliant. And he deserves a check. And oh, by the way, you ain't going to find anybody that knows more boxing than him. I'm happy for him.
You sure about that?
Even though his boy will lie his ass off and say otherwise because he going to get more clicks.
Marcellus Wiley. He can't.
Y'all
call
know
him.
who the hell it is.
Say his name, bro. It's okay.
It's unbelievable. The shit that people make up just to create clicks, because that's all you can do to get a check now.
Damn.
I'm not talking about Max. I'm talking about his peeps. Y'all know who they are with their podcast. You got to be kidding me. But it's all right. It's okay.
Yeah, I think it's obvious. Stephen A. Smith, he got an issue with Max Kellerman. He always says he didn't want to lose his job or he didn't get him fired. But let's be real, Stephen A. You go to your bosses, you complain, something's going on, you don't like the fit. What else are they going to do? They got a lot invested into you. Max Kellerman, he was an add-on. You were a part of the original crew with Skip Bayless back in the day. So, of course, you're going to be the front runner to keep your job no matter what's going on. They'll get rid of all the contributors and the guest hosts. They're going to make sure Stephen A. Smith is happy. And again, it looked like it paid off. You got $100+ million plus the other contracts you got with working at ESPN and First Take. So it is what it is, Stephen A. I know you sounded real sensitive out there. You're trying to change the Max Kellerman narrative. But even though officially you probably didn't say you're fired, get out of the ESPN offices, you got him removed from First Take because you didn't feel as though it was a good fit. But he'll never fully admit to it. He wants to say, well, he got a job, 2 other jobs or whatever. Once you lose a First Take gig, it's pretty much a wrap for you on ESPN.
You buying that he's happy Max Kellerman's back and he didn't want him fired, and, you know, he was always on Team Max. We just didn't work to get well together.
Couple of things. He said he didn't want to see him fired. Didn't he essentially fire him, though? I mean, he's
Pretty much.
actually the one, and I think there became an issue. Me and you have talked about this, Jason. It grated on Stephen A. Smith that he was considered the second blackest guy on that show.
That was a wrap.
It did. That famous Terrell Owens clip, all right?
Once that happened,
the other
it's
thing
over.
is he happy for him? I mean, he's happy for him in a way that after a couple who's been married for about 10 to 15 years, had good times, bad times, have a couple kids, and then finally it's an acrimonious split, and then the other person gets married and seems happy. Yeah, I mean, everyone says, oh, I'm happy for him or her. I'm happy. Meanwhile, you're like, this son of a... Yeah, he's happy in that way, Jason. That's the way he's happy.
Yeah, again, it's one of those bittersweet things. Like, I guess he thought Max Kellerman was going to be down and out, or he hasn't heard anything from him. But we already knew Max Kellerman was working on moves. Marcellus, he's been talking about it, saying little things here and there, like be on the lookout. You know, Max Kellerman, he's coming back. And now he's going to be doing that boxing match. So he's back to his roots, calling the boxing games and getting back to the basics. And hopefully we can see Max Kellerman either on TV or on his own platform very soon.
Yeah, I don't think he's happy for Max Kellerman. And I think part of his commentary there is that obviously Marcellus is going after Stephen A. in Stephen A's mind because of Max Kellerman. I think, and I don't want to read too much into it, but I think he thinks that's why, or that, I'm caping up for Max. I know that's not the case. But he makes some pretty bold proclamations about he's going to end some of his haters, and he's been mellow too long. And when he returns, we're going to see a different, more fiery version of Stephen A. Smith. Let's play shot 4.
But over the process, I got something to tell y'all. I think I've gotten too mellow.
Here we go, Cinematic Steve.
I think I've been very nice, very quiet.
You've been loud, bro.
And I haven't come out with the fire that I'm accustomed to coming out with. I actually think I've been more mild-mannered. I don't believe I've told enough people to kiss my ass. I don't believe I've told enough people you could go kick rocks.
I think he told a lot of people, bro.
I don't believe that I've said enough about the people who talk shit about me lying all the damn time.
There you go, Crash Out Steve.
That's going to end.
Ooh.
You buying that? You think ESPN's happy with that clip? You buying that Stephen A. is going to come out swinging and fighting?
Well, okay, yeah, he's going to come out throwing punches. Have you seen the footage? Bad idea. If you haven't, look it up, folks. Okay. So, what? Is he not listening to his pastor anymore? Wasn't that his spiritual guide? No, seriously. What happened to that? Has that guy been laid off or something? Did he get Max Kellerman?
Yeah, at the end of the day, man, Stephen A. Smith, he's just ranting. Again, he's going on vacation. He needs people to have something to talk about for the next few weeks until August or September. And this was kind of like his farewell. I'm sure you'll see him on the podcast if something major happens. But for the most part, this was Cinematic Steve. That's what I call him. Getting into his acting role, trying to get more acting gigs when he has a few hours when he's not working or sleeping. So at the end of the day, man, he threw shots at Marcellus. He threw shots at Jason Whitlock. He didn't want to name him by name because, that's not what his MO is. He likes to throw shots and hide his hands. And as far as him and Max Kellerman, if he's happy that he got his job back and doing boxing, maybe a 5% of them. But for the most part, I think he just wants Max Kellerman and his name not to be mentioned in the same sentence because he doesn't like the narrative that he got Max Kellerman fired from ESPN First Take. And let's be real, Stephen A., we know the truth. We know you talk to the bosses, like you said, and you got a lot of influence at ESPN. So, of course, if you're not happy on your quote-unquote show, they're going to get rid of whoever they got to get rid of to make you happy. They had multiple millions invested in you at the time, and now they got hundreds of millions of dollars invested into you. So, of course, they're going to do everything in their power to make their talent happy because they know they're going to get a lot of work from Stephen A. Smith doing various shows. So, it is what it is, Stephen. Stop being emotional. Man up. You getting all the money. Who cares if you're playing solitaire? Be like, I'm standing on it. I do what I want to do. But you're crying to your people and be like, damn, people are lying and, making up stories. So it is what it is, man. Stephen A., stop crying. You got too much money in the bank, bro.